Mina, konbanwa. Konnichiwa. JesusFreakinGamer here. It's not night, it's the afternoon. Konnichiwa. My good friend, Titty McDickcheese, is throwing me off something horrible today.
It has been...
Holy
First
shit.
off, it's been quite a day getting this started.
Oh.
We were meant to start literally 4 hours ago, give or take. Is we were meant to get all this running.
Whoever says YouTube is not work doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about.
But not only has today been quite a fun day, it has also been a long time. Not so long for
us,
you guys.
For us, it has
We
been.
recorded so much in bulk of Dark Souls 1, and so did you, back when I kind of stopped being here because of my thing.
Yeah.
That happened. The episodes are still coming out as we're recording this for Dark Souls 1, but for us, it's been like, what, 3.5 months?
Ish, at least. At least.
At least.
And Dark Souls 1 isn't even finished yet. I haven't, because editing software is still borked. I haven't even been able to edit the last 3 full-length episodes where I finished the game. But, some very, very good news. My friend
God, we're talking about this?
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Hell, I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of myself.
This man got accepted into the United States Navy.
Well, I could still fuck it up in basic. So let's not get too far ahead of ourselves.
He could.
I could be a total failure.
He could be. It's not impossible. But the chances of that... Let's just say he did really, really well on his ASVAB. Let's just say he can do whatever he freaking wants. For the most part.
Yeah.
For the most part.
But, like I said, I could still fuck it up basic. But I'm gonna... I haven't hit the gym in a bit. I start hitting it again. I start hitting it hard.
You do.
So,
You legitimately do.
I also need to cut off the 2 a.m. pizzas. So...
Oh my gosh.
It's a vice.
As good as they are.
As good as they are, there's a Pizza Hut up my street. Like, what do you expect from me?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, before he leaves for basic, I want to do my very best to at least get Dark Souls 2 in with him, because by the time Dark Souls 3 hits, he will not be here. Because apparently this is a long-ass game.
Oh, this game's long as fuck.
So, we're going to be doing this for a while, and also, from the get-go, these are going to be 20-minute episodes, not 60-minute episodes. 60 minutes, that is a damn long time. Like, even if you're really enjoying yourself, even if it's a video that you just really love and you want to watch, that is a commitment.
Yeah.
That is a legitimate commitment, and even, I'm sorry, like, even when, like, my favorites, you know, Mark, Sean, and Felix, better known as Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, and PewDiePie
Fucking
on Markiplier.
Jacksepticeye, Jesus Christ.
When those guys release their gameplay videos and they're like 2 hours long, I don't think I've watched a single one. Because when I see 2 hours, I'm just like, fuck that.
No, well, see, when I see 2 hours, but like, I watch Rooster Teeth and Amazing Atheist and all these other people. Well, I'm saying those two specifically because they do podcasts. And like the Rooster Teeth's podcast normally lasts around 2 hours. Drunken Peasants podcast, which is the Amazing Atheists, lasts give or take about the same time.
Yeah.
So when that happens, literally, when I see that pop in my sub box, I'm like, alright, time to put on some headphones and farm in Dark Souls while I'm listening to this in the background. That's literally how it happens. So,
gotcha.
And like you were complaining about farming in the first game, literally the best way I found to farm is put on a podcast or like a 2-hour episode that doesn't need visual.
Yeah.
And just, like, your time goes by so fucking fast.
Just kind of flies by.
Just flies by.
Well, and I actually remember way back in the day when I was playing some old school games, like when I had to practice a really hard game, because back in the day, pretty much every game was Dark Souls. To practice, I would decide to just put on some music in the background and practice singing whatever song I wanted to sing, and that way I'd memorize the song while I was just but my reflexes would still learn how to get through these really hard levels. So I was kind of like 2 for 1-ing it myself right there. So onwards and forwards into Dark Souls 2, and of course I got the full DLC, Scholar of the First Sin, which is since this is my new video and it's my new series. There's a big difference between vanilla Dark Souls 2 and Scholar of the First Sin. So I'm going to treat this video as a first time for everything. And by the way, I'm doing my best not to spoil any of this game at any point.
I think, like I said, I showed you a couple of boss fights, but that was.
I've heard of Fume Knight, and apparently he's enraging to the nth degree.
But I think even without me, you would have heard of him.
And there's a dragon that bleeds poison. Not
Something.
acid, but poison.
Yeah, something like that. But
DLC
like I said, I
bosses.
think I showed you a couple boss fights way back when, like over a
I don't
year
remember
ago,
those.
and
I don't remember that shit.
Yeah. So, but other than that, and that was one thing I've been watching when as I was watching the Dark Souls 1 episodes, which I haven't I haven't watched nearly as many as there are.
Yeah.
But just in what I have watched, I helped you a lot in the first game.
You did.
I'm not gonna do that here.
Yeah.
In here, I'm kind of just gonna be sitting here laughing at your deaths and giving you very vague directions.
Yeah, because you don't want me to just like spend half an hour
You're
trying to get out of the vault.
You're gonna look at a door and be like, "What can I do with this door?" I'm like, "Ignore it. Just keep going. You'll know when to come back to it."
Yeah.
So
very, very basic instructions.
And see, I say this, but then I'm gonna get detailed as fuck when we get in the game. I'm gonna try not to.
Story-wise, I would hope so, because I'm assuming the story. Like,
I will.
Dark Souls 1,
I'm gonna. That's kind of the part I was meant to play in the first game, but I ended up playing Mr. Map.
Yeah.
Whereas this time, I'm literally going to try and be nothing but a thesaurus for Dark Souls lore.
Yeah.
That's that's my purpose.
But differences between vanilla Dark Souls 2 and Scholar of the First Sin.
So vanilla Dark Souls 2 was, when it came out, it was significantly easier than what a Souls fan was expecting. It was significantly easier than Dark Souls 1 or Demon Souls.
To the point where people
complained about how easy it was. And it still has some very easy mechanics. I'm going to say this, because it's not a spoiler, because this isn't in the game anymore. There used to be a ring called the Ring of Soul Protection, which there were about 6 of them in the game.
Yeah.
And what they did is every time you died, the ring broke, but you got to keep all your shit.
Okay.
But you can repair rings in this game. So it only costs 3,000 souls to repair those rings. And so if you had more than 3,000, put the fucking ring on. There's no point not to. It's pure profit.
Yeah.
They took that shit out. They took all of them out. They're just not there anymore.
They removed an item from the game.
They removed the ring from the game. And they put in significantly more enemies. Because the combat in this game isn't like it was in the first one.
Okay.
It's much more frantic. Like, in the first game, you can kind of kite enemies out, like, one by one. In this game, you piss off a mob.
Oh,
and you have to just deal with it. Just deal with
Oh.
it. Don't suck. That's...
And that was not the way vanilla Dark Souls 2 was.
No, not at all. And the DLC in vanilla was already significantly harder than the base game, just as Artorias of the Abyss was in Dark Souls 1. So now with this...
They cranked it to 11.
It's fucking stupid. Like I said, I don't even completely finish one of the DLCs because there's one part that I don't like because it's too much. It's too much for me. And this is coming from someone that has 100%ed every Souls game except for Dark Souls 2.
Okay, yeah, Dark Souls 2, there are two
rings. There are 2 rings.
That are just a
one of which you
get.
One of which you get by going through the game without touching a bonfire. Another of which you get by going through the game without dying. I'm not a little bitch. So I have decided I'm going to get both at the same time.
Logic, ladies and gentlemen.
I have not yet done this, but I'm going to one day.
I'll believe that when I see it.
Yeah, I also have 100% of Bloodborne, but I just got Bloodborne. I actually did just get Bloodborne. I'm fucking hyped about it. It's now my favorite Souls game. It's so good.
It is a Souls game.
It is a Souls game. Like Demon Souls. It's not in the Dark Souls universe, but it's a Souls game.
It's a Souls game.
Fucking deal with it.
It's the game that's not called Dark Souls to get you into Dark Souls.
Yeah. Like, a guy that we work with.
The dude.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't want to say his name.
Yeah.
But anyway, he hates Dark Souls.
Yeah.
He hates it. He's played 1, 2, and 3. Fucking hated them. He came over to my house the other day. I was playing Bloodborne. And was like, this isn't that bad. I'm just like, see, this is how they pull you in. We're halfway through an episode already. We haven't done shit but talk.
Typical for us.
Let's get into it.
So, new game, and I know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, what my character's going to be. No question.
Good. Cutscenes. So shut your mouth. After this loading screen.
Oh, I don't get to choose my character?
Not yet.
Perhaps you've seen it. Maybe in a dream. A murky, forgotten land.
This intro isn't my favorite.
A place where souls may mend your ailing mind. You will lose everything. Once branded. The symbol of the curse. An augur of darkness. Your past, your future, your very light.
Hello.
None will have meaning, and you won't even care. By then, you'll be something other than human.
Spider.
I noticed.
A thing that feeds on souls. A hollow. Long ago, in a walled-off land far to the north, a great king built a great kingdom. I believe they called it Drang Lake.
Appropriate.
Perhaps you're familiar. No, how could you be? But one day, you will stand before its decrepit gate without really knowing why.
Creep. Ugh.
I love the setup in this game. A lot of people hate it, but I love it. I'll explain in a second.
I just didn't like her smiling like that. Ugh.
It looks like the dude that bit me. With all 4 teeth. That's exactly what he looked like.
Like a moth drawn to a flame. Your wings will burn in anguish. Time after time.
Uh-oh.
For that is your fate. The fate of the cursed.
Voluntarily jump into the whirlpool.
Yeah. Because fuck you, that's why.
Apparently.
Sword!
Oh, in this part.
Alright, so here we are. So, character creation will come in a minute. But, so, just a rough overview of what just happened. I like the setup for this game. A lot of people don't, because, you know, the other games, it's like, you know, like Dark Souls 1. Oh, here's the history of the world. Mm-hmm. Here are these 4 gods that may or may not be your later bosses.
Yeah.
Fuck you. That's basically what the first one was. This one, it straight up tells you, first off, you're gonna lose everything. You're gonna fucking die. You suck. Right? And then you're going to stand at this decrepit gate and not know why. It's telling you, you're going to go through this game not knowing what the fuck's going on. You're going to figure it out eventually, but not while you're playing it.
I was going to say, that was about as descriptive as the opening for the first game. If you don't go into the first game, until you've, I'd say, beaten it and read a whole lot of item descriptions, you have no idea what the intro even means.
I'll explain exactly what happened.
Like, that was just a giant... What?
I'll explain exactly what happened here. Either when we finish the series, if we're here when that happens, or on my last day here.
Okay.
I'll explain what just happened. But one thing I do want you to notice, and you can't see it until you go back and either watch the recording or make another character.
Yeah.
But when it pans out over that giant lake, and there's that archway that your character's standing in. You see the broken ass archway.
Yeah.
And the giant lake. If you look at the archway's reflection in the lake, there's a giant castle. So the reflection in the lake shows there used to be shit there.
Okay, and that somehow ties into the whole... I'll say the whole Fate of the Undead thing, I'm really not sure like how Dark Souls 2 ties into that at all. I'm just, okay. In fact, I'm not even sure if we're in Lordran.
We aren't
anymore. They mentioned what?
Drangleic.
Drangleic?
Drangleic.
It's a giant city.
There are a lot of rumors and theories. There are a lot of rumors and theories.
Yeah.
But to the amount of knowledge that you have at this point, you're just told you're in Drangleic. So with your current knowledge, you are not in Lordran.
Yeah, that's
from what you've been told.
Yeah, if we're in Lordran, we're in a different part than what we were in the first game.
Yeah.
So, and of course it's the Soul series, so who fucking knows? It could be anything. And just getting the game set up to where it wouldn't lag like crazy. If you're going to run this game yourself and you want to play this game, I know I'm saying this, 2-3 years after it was released, so this is a bit late, but I'm going to say it anyway. Do not play this game in full screen. There is not a recording software that can handle it. I'm actually playing this game, everything's turned up to max, but I'm playing in window mode because I cannot record this game.
The recording software,
and play it at the same time. Okay,
we're using the best recording software there is. And it couldn't fucking handle it.
Yes.
It just couldn't do it. And we turned all the settings down and everything. So there's shit here. Little monkeys. Little monkey looking things. Now, if you attack them, just a word of advice, they will wreck your asshole. You're not meant to attack them. They're kind of just meant for... The only reason I'm telling you that is because they're just kind of meant as atmosphere.
Well, I was going to say, unless... I have nothing on at this point, so unless I'm treating everything... My attitude right now is everything is an obstacle until I get my stuff.
Yeah.
I run for now.
So...
I will hit this, just for the fun of it. And
I'm waiting for your exploring chops to come out. There you go.
And there's a... Oh! Soul packet? Yeah, typical bodies lying around.
Pull it out of its ass.
A rusted coin.
Oh, yeah, so we haven't read any descriptions.
Oh, well, I don't... Do I have anything?
You have your armor. You're wearing.
This is armor? I figured this was just... Imported...
Shit, but it's
everything. There. I don't want to remove. I want to read. Imported hood. Hemp hood that fully covers the face, provides protection from the elements, and a little more. The cursed souls who wander the lands have a strange way of ending up here, as if drawn from afar by some force.
The rest say the same thing.
Oh, no, the rest are just the exact way of protection. But like in the last game, I'm still gonna fucking read them all. Manchettes.
This is gonna be a long playthrough.
It's gonna be a very long playthrough. Okay, so I do have that. Nothing else. Rings, stuff.
You need to pick up a rusted coin.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to that in just a second. Oh, and there's the dark sign. On a cursed mark, the dark sign induces death, returning the player to the last bonfire rested at the cost of all souls held. Do what you must to gather the pieces, scraping them into some semblance of a whole before the will to do so fades.
So before you go hollow.
I'm like, what? I'm like, well, what pieces? Like, what am I gathering?
You're the pieces of your existence. But see, this game actually does something kind of interesting. This one shows what could be the brand on your actual character.
Okay.
Whereas Dark Souls 1 didn't. There were just ambiguous swirls.
Yeah.
If you were to take off your chest plate, you could see like a very specific swirl on your back.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Well, let's get naked for a second after I read these descriptions. You got me curious. Oh, and actually, speaking of which, we're going to have to stop right there. We're about at 20 minutes, guys. Again, these are going to be much, much shorter episodes because I just 1 hour commitment for watching an episode. Like, I'm not a podcast. And this isn't some highly edited thing where I'm expecting, oh my gosh, this is an amazing production. This is a practical, movie or mini drama.
We're dicking around.
This is just us me specifically playing the game and him going to enjoy the torment of my dying.
Yeah.
So 20 minutes a pop, we're about it. So thank you guys very much for watching this episode and watching us ramble as always. If you liked it, hit that like button. If you disliked it, hit that dislike button. And if you really like to, be sure to share with a friend, subscribe, and join the freaks. See you in just a second. I love you, and God bless.